Morning Drive, brought to you by Golf Pride.
Hey everyone, welcome inside Studio AP Morning Drive YouTube edition. And in Shanghai, we've got the WGC-HSBC Champions going on and Rory McIlroy trying to capitalize. He went out there hot. You see him right there, just a shot back of Matthew Fitzpatrick on the leaderboard. Let's check out his scorecard and see how things are going for him so far. A birdie fest going on his front nine. He did have a couple bogeys on both his front and back nine, but that eagle on 18 had him a 5 under 67 today. Now, we know that golf is a game that is played partially in between the ears. So is Rory's mental toughness possibly underrated?
Underrated? I wouldn't say so. I think it's properly rated, considering he's a 17-time winner on the PGA Tour, 4 major championships. With those 4 majors between 2011 and 2014, it's been awfully quiet on the major championship level from 2015 to 2019, which makes me think that he's behind the likes of Tiger, behind the likes of Brooks Koepka, behind the likes of Justin Thomas, who's cashed in 8 of 11, 54-hole leads. We know that he had a year, did Rory, where he was struggling and did not cash in when he was in the final group on the PGA Tour. I think he is appropriately rated. I don't think his mental toughness is necessarily his #1 calling card. It's behind the driver, behind some of the other skills he has. I think his mental toughness seems to ebb and flow, if we're being completely honest here.
You know that old saying, the out of sight, out of mind? Well, the majors have gone out of sight, but certainly they are not out of mind when it comes to Rory McIlroy. I think part of the reason that we even pose this question, why we even talk about this, is the fact that at certain times he has really flubbed in a major way. You go back to Augusta National. I think it's a mental block for him now when he drives down Magnolia Lane. I think he's getting mentally tougher. Is he underrated? Maybe just a little bit, in my opinion. But the older he gets, the more comfortable he is in his own skin. He's now married. He's not doing it. It's golf and it's his family. That's it. I think that's why we're seeing him every week, Anna, be in the top 5 or top 10. And I think this is just going to get stronger and stronger. And we're going to see the best version of Rory in his 30s.
I've actually sort of noticed a reverse in everything you just said when you say he's still getting mentally tougher. One thing that really stood out to me is when he hit the ground at Royal Portrush, he couldn't stop but reflect back to when he set the course record there. And he said when he was 14, 15 years old, and he said, if I could just tap back into that fearlessness and that confidence, he just oozed swagger. He was kind of overconfident as a youngster because he believed from the day he was born he was the best player in the world. But the way that you saw him completely just lose it on the first tee at Royal Portrush. And then from time to time now, you just see these moments where you question how confident is he in his own body. You feel like the weakness is he's getting weaker over the years.
In the things that he most desperately wants. His approach to Portrush, and I said it before we even got there, was all wrong. I'm going to treat this just as just a normal Open, instead of embracing the magnitude of it and luxuriating in it, relishing in it, making it his own personal Ryder Cup. Instead, he shrank from that moment. It was too much for him.
I don't think he shrank from it. It was one bad tee shot. He had a really good Friday that particular week that we don't talk about. I think it was the right approach for him because in golf, if you get too hyped before an event, that can be detrimental too. I think it's just what he decided to do for that particular event. When you see what Rory is doing now and the finishes that he has and the way he's hitting it and the things that he is saying, his mental approach to hitting it to within, 10 or 15 feet, because he knows his short game is as good as it's ever been, that's what tells me that he is progressing in the right direction.
I do think he's working on it, and I think this is something he knows he's going to have. It's going to have to be a 15th club, that mental toughness, if he's going to swim around with the likes of Brooks Koepka. And Rory landed a big punch in Atlanta after getting knocked out in Memphis. He's wide awake, is Rory McIlroy. He knows that his toughness is being questioned. He was called out by Brooks Koepka, which tells you what Brooks Koepka thinks about Rory. Likes him personally, says, I love Rory. But rivalry? Oh, he hasn't won a major since I've been out here. So Rory is being tested, and that's probably a good thing for a high-level athlete to have one more thing to get angry and get up about.
Looking at Rory's game, we know his strongest point is no doubt off the tee, but he said there, and you mentioned there about his short game getting stronger and stronger. Is that the part of his game that is most important now to be honing in on if he's to ever reach that #1 spot again?
If he's making putts, he's a very dangerous man. The driver is such a weapon. He hits the ball so high with his irons. If around and on the greens is sharp, then look out. He can do what he did in Canada and win by 7.
There's a reason Jack Nicklaus says that at most majors you can get rid of what, 70 or 80% of the field because they just don't have the complete game to win major championships. Rory does have the complete game, but at Augusta National, where he's never won, and we know that's a career Grand Slam, your short game has to be on point, because if it's not, those sloops and the bumps and the humps, they can turn a 4 into a 6, a 70 into a 78 very, very quickly.
Yeah, well, if Rory can carry on doing what he's doing so far in China, it could be a big statement with potentially his 4th win of the year. So it's all to play for. LT.
Can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Well, if you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to subscribe to Golf Channel's YouTube page for more, and tune into Golf Channel and Morning Drive every day. We want to see you there for the latest news around the game. Until next time.